So, one of the cool things about the virtual Indy 500 that iRacing is putting on here, and as they're touting it, race it, then watch it. You know, for people that have been fans of the Indy 500, like I have ever since I was a little kid, just the idea that I can jump in, the current, Dallara race car that all these guys are driving in the real race, and turn virtual laps and actually race a full 500-mile length and get a feel for what these guys are doing, and do it the day before the race. It's going to give me, I know it's going to give me a whole new appreciation of what these guys are going to do on that Sunday when they climb in those cars, to race in the real race. We've got members from all over the world who are going to be racing in the virtual 500s come Saturday, and we're all going to have a special bond and a special feeling when we turn on the TV set on Sunday to watch the race. I can't be there live, but I think I'm going to be able to have a real feeling for what the guys are going through. I'm going to be sitting in my car here for 200 laps, which is going to be probably close to 3 hours, maybe more, depending on how many yellow flags we have. And it's going to be a ton of fun, and it's just going to make that watching the Indy 500 on TV experience just that much better. Ooh, big rig.
Outside. All clear, all clear.
Okay, well, some of the cool things about the interface here with iRacing that I use on a regular basis. This thing called Dashboard, which basically lets me see what races and qualifying sessions are happening, and also what practice sessions are open. And then I can also go over here and to the race planner and pick the class of car that I want to drive, and then find out when the next race is. For example, the Star Mazda series, the next race is at 3:30, and I can give myself an appointment there, and it'll show up here. I can kind of plan my race week out. Here's my Mustang, and I race in the Mustang class. And if I click on paint, it brings me into this paint shop, and you can see that you have different color schemes that you can pick. For example, say this one will throw a little orange on there if I want that one. Come back and pick different kinds of schemes. Statistics are pretty cool. If I come down to the statistics page, I can see basically everything about my career stats, awards, certificates that I've run. This goes all the way back to 2008 when the service started, and I have stats for my road racing and then stats for my oval racing. Now, so once we're in the sim, there's a couple of things I can do. I kind of want to show you what's involved. So this is an Indy car, which is based on the current Indy car, Dallara it's called, and this is in the garage. These are some of the adjustments that can be made to the setup of the car. You've got tire pressure that you can adjust. You've got wing settings. You've got the underside aero package. You've got rear aero package. So those are all the aerodynamic settings under chassis. I can set camber, caster, spring rates, shock, bump stiffness, bump rebound, anti-roll bar settings, both front and rear, toe in, steering ratio, brake bias, the anti-roll bar diameter, both front and rear. So you can see there's quite a few adjustments here. Basically, any adjustment you can make on the real car, you can make within the simulation. And then drivetrain, I can go in and change gear sets, number of clutch plates, clutch preload, clutch ramp angles, those kinds of things. It is pretty technical, and you just about have to be a racing engineer to really understand what's going on here. All the tracks are real race tracks, and all the cars are real race cars. And iRacing uses a laser scanning technology, and which accurately depicts the track. I mean, down to the bumps in the track. And that's also why you need to have reasonably powerful computer. I built my own system, which I enjoy tinkering around with this stuff, and I've tweaked it, and I've got the best graphics card I can get in there to make sure I can turn on all the eye candy in the game. Get the shadow mapping coming off the trees onto my dash as I drive, through the shade. The reflection of other cars, in your paint scheme as you look out over the hood of your car. Stops. Driving around the track. It really takes a ton of concentration to keep from not only hitting the other guy, but to keep the car on the track and to race the track and not the other car, because you want to maintain your proper line going through so you're not losing any speed. But I tell you, by the end of a race, I'm wore out. I've actually sat in this cockpit and had sweat running down my face. Concentrating, gripping the steering wheel with a death grip, trying to hang on and just concentrating really hard. And it's but I'll tell you, it is incredibly exhilarating to win one of these races. It's probably not quite like it is a real race car, but still, there's a real sense of accomplishment, and that's what keeps me coming back into this room and climbing back into this seat. It's just the fun, the competition, the immersiveness of the game. You feel like you're there, you feel like you're into it. The sounds of the cars too, and the tires, those are accurately modeled. There's nothing like the sound of the Formula One car. We've got a Williams Formula One, that high-pitched scream just is, it's just, it sends chills down your spine. You sit here playing this thing and listen to that. It's just, everything is so spot on accurate. That's what really makes it a ton of fun.
Got one outside.